Welcome to the Crypto Freedom Summit. Now I have here as my guest Crypto Wendy. She is a crypto trader, investor, and researcher, and she runs her popular O Show on YouTube, where she does interviews, project reviews, discussion pieces, technical analysis, and market updates. In addition, she also does marketing and consulting for companies. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming in, because it's so nice that you took some time from your busy schedule. So it's great to have you here. Would be interesting to know how did you came into the crypto scene? When did you started to invest in Bitcoin and cryptos and trading them?
So I actually heard about Bitcoin originally back in 2011. I didn't end up buying then. Of course, nobody was buying back then. You had to be really tech savvy. I don't even think I had a computer in my house back then. I don't remember. But then I started hearing about it more and more on libertarian radio, on my long drives to work when I used to work in healthcare and back in 2017. And I was very entrepreneurial at the time. I still am. And I just decided to go ahead and invest and see what would happen. And I had a very open mind when I joined the crypto community, crypto Twitter, and that helped kind of help with me start to host meetups and start to create content to learn more myself. And then I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole and more opportunities came, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Yeah, sounds good. How the trading part came into this all?
So the trading part, I saw all these anonymous characters on Twitter making all this money back in 2017. And I was like, if they could do it, I can do it. So then I bought 2 used books from eBay, and I just taught myself the basics like support and resistance, RSI, MACD. And then I started, just making investments, and the rest was history. And I do okay.
Yes, sounds great. What kind of challenges you had, like when you started to learn trading and started to learn investing in cryptos? Like, what were your main hurdles before you started to become successful?
Well, it takes, I have a family. I have a 4-year-old. She's 4 now. So I spend a lot of time with my family. So sometimes it is kind of hard to manage. And now that I do all this media and I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes, it is, trading. I still do trade, but because the market has shifted, I'm doing more of investing. That seems to be more profitable, is to kind of buy something that I like, watch it, obviously make sure I get a good entry and then hold on to it a little bit, pull my profit, pull my initial out, and then keep a moon bag and keep pulling money out like it's a bank account. So that's been working for me well during this market. However, in the bear markets, I'll switch to more trading, because those opportunities are more present, and you got to take advantage of those 1 to 20% pumps. So probably just time management is one of the biggest struggles, is figuring out when you have time to really spend on education, because nobody wants to research and to take time away from having fun, to go essentially kind of go back to school. But if you want to be profitable, it's important to invest in yourself, invest time in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess especially in the bear market, you have a lot of time for that kind of activity, actually. So I guess that's maybe one of the best times to do this, educating
for
yourself.
For some people, I was in school. I was finishing up my degree, stay-at-home mom with a 4-year-old. And I also was still working in crypto then. So bear market is good for educating, but it's not, a lot of us we're building in the bear market as well. So it was good to kind of delegate time to studying and bettering yourself. But at the same time, we have other responsibilities. So I feel like it's more just delegating time, no matter what market you're in.
Yeah. So how does your average day look like now? Of course, you run the YouTube show and you do a lot of things, but like if you would consider the part where you like research projects and you look at investment opportunities or do trading, like how big of a amount of hours that takes time, like every day?
So I'm up at 5 a.m. I wake up, I drink a bunch of water. I do like 3 to 5 minutes of light exercises. I drink coffee. Sometimes I go lay back in bed with my daughter. Then I get to my office. I write down some positive affirmations, some goals that I have. I know it sounds kind of cringe, but it's not. Then I write down everything I have to do for the day. And then we then I'll start doing TikTok content. I post 6 to 8 videos there a day. And then I start preparing for the O show. And what that means is when I say preparing, I pull news stories that are relevant. I take a look at Bitcoin price action, Ethereum price action. I see if I want to open a leverage trade or not. And see if that makes sense for me. Then I kind of check on the different investments that I have. And then I utilize some of that stuff for the show. And then if I see a particular project I like, I'll talk about that on the show. I get the show out, it goes off to the editor. I do my thumbnails. I see if there's any other content that I want to do. If there, I want to make like a dedicated review for a particular project that I like that I'm investing in. And then I go back to taking calls and working with my clients, making sure they're getting what they need. And then post a little bit more on social media. And then I try to be done with everything by, and I work out stuff sometime during that. And then I get off. I try to just disconnect from social media and be with my child.
Yeah, that's like a full-time thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. Now you mentioned TikTok, and myself, I've been wondering, especially now the recent week or two, like we've seen this madness with all kinds of moon projects flying and dogs flying and that kind of thing. So it would be interesting to know that what kind of things you see at the moment in TikTok, like how is the crypto sentiment there and what are people into there?
They're into a lot of meme coins. A lot of the people are not super savvy investors, which that's fine. I post a lot of educational content there to kind of be like, if you're going to invest in this stuff, it's probably, could be a scam. It could get rug pulled. But if you're going to invest in it, I support your decision to invest in it. But make sure you take profit and make sure you understand that this stuff's not going to be here in the next year, probably not even the next 6 months. So the sentiment there, that's where all the retail traders are, or retail investors are. They're not on crypto Twitter anymore. There's a lot of there's still people that are there, people that have been in the space for a while, but all the action's really on TikTok now.
Yeah, that's interesting. How do you see now, like people made a lot of money with Safemoon or Dogecoin or something similar? How you see this at this point? Do you see them still going up, or do you see this kind of hype going down already, or what is your view about this?
It really depends, because a lot of the people that are investing, they're brand new investors and they are not taking profit. They're refusing to take profit. They're looking at this stuff like a stock, and it's not a stock. Cryptocurrency is very volatile. It's very speculative, especially with a lot of these brand new projects. They all say, well, XRP is the next Bitcoin. Look what Bitcoin did. Look at Safemoon is the next Bitcoin. Dogecoin is the next Bitcoin. No one believed in Bitcoin in the beginning, and they're not really understanding some of the fundamentals behind it, which that's okay. That's on them. But we're just seeing a different type of investor, and people that are really not willing to sell or take profit. So I advocate for taking profit and pulling your initial out, pulling your profit out, and holding a moon bag and seeing what happens. So we see a lot of that over there as well. And hopefully everybody learns and they make some money. And that's kind of what I advocate for, is just kind of to provide education and remind them, we want to, at the end of the day, the reason why I trade altcoins is to accumulate more Bitcoin or fiat to pay for bills, because that's the income I live on.
Yeah, and like you said, it's so important to educate people in the space, because like 4 years ago, a lot of people got burned. Like you said, people are not in the Twitter anymore, and I guess the space doesn't need more of these kind of experiences anymore. More people are burning themselves in the markets and losing money. So yeah, absolutely. How do you yourself? Otherwise, you said like you are researching projects and looking into new projects and where to invest. Like, what are your sources where you look for them?
It depends. If I see something being shilled on TikTok, I'll take a look at it and see if it's something that I'm interested in. I'm very strict with the things I invest in now. Back in the summer of 2020, we were just like buying whatever, even fall. But now I'm very, very particular, like who I invest in, because you don't know. And then plus two, the people on crypto Twitter are so quick to call everything a scam, and then they blame you if you actually invest in something and they end up rug pulling. So I'm very careful what I invest in now, and I don't really post everything I'm investing in. But I do, like, I'll do a lot of research on CoinGecko. I'll make sure I, pay attention to the website. I like projects that have light papers. I have a group of friends that they're more technical than I am, and they'll take a look at the code. They'll take a look at, the projects. I'll do more of the technical analysis and see if this is something that fits with me. But it's good to have somebody you can talk to about taking a look at the code, because I'm not a coder. I can't really read that stuff. And, then we'll kind of rate things like, is this really risky? Is this a good thing, or whatever it is? And then we'll take precautions. And of course, always, take responsibility for our own actions. I've been rug pulled quite a few times. And if that happens, that's on me. So that's why I'm so quick to kind of take that profit.
Yeah, and I think overall we've seen now that it's very important to take profits because I myself notice myself becoming a bit too greedy. You want to make a lot of money, and then what happens is like something went up and then it came down back again like pretty fast. So yeah, I noticed that it's very important to keep taking profits, especially I guess since we are quite a bit up already in the market. So how you see the markets at the moment? Like, what do you think about the usual Bitcoin cycle, and what do you think about the hyper cycle? And what is your view on where we are now and when the market might be topping?
For my analysis, and I've posted a chart before, I believe that we're going to hit minimum of $160,000, and that's probably going to happen closer to August, September. And that was just me kind of using basic fractal technical analysis, looking back at every quarter too, seeing what the market did. We had anywhere between 60 to 260% pump since 2018, I believe. 2018, 2019, yeah, 20. I didn't go back further than that, but we always had historical pumps with Bitcoin, no matter how bearish the market was. So I went ahead and did a simple chart, use basic technical analysis, look for patterns, and it looks like we're going to be reaching, because every year we kind of peaked off in like September-ish, September, August-ish. So we'll probably be peaking off around, if we do 200%, probably around $160,000. I know other people are more bullish than I am, and that's fine, but I try to keep my stuff conservative because I feel like that does a disservice to people that are following me.
Yeah, I guess that's a good idea, and I guess that also then you make sure that you are taking profits early enough as well. So yeah, sounds like a smart, good idea. Going a little bit back to the investing in new projects, like what do you consider that are like good signs, like if for the beginners when they start learning about researching projects, and what do you say that should people pay attention to? What are like a good signs?
So I like to see the teams that are doxed, because there's a lot of scary people that are doing really shady stuff online. So having a doxed team is important. Also too, I want to have somebody look at the code and let me know what type of minting feature there is to print new tokens, because that's how rug pulls happen. Sometimes there is minting feature that does need to occur, but it needs to be very specific as to why they need to have a minting feature, because as far as I know, I don't think Bitcoin has a minting feature where you can make more coins. It's 21 million, it's finite. So that's something important. Why are you minting more tokens? Why is this happening? Another thing I like to take into account of is the use case. What is your use case? Are you creating is it an oracle? Is this something that is for multi-chain? Because we're seeing a lot more projects pop up that are multi-chain that support Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and whatnot, and even Polkadot. Polkadot is a lot of sometimes I ape and I'll buy something that's on utilizing Polkadot, or even partner with Polkadot, just because I really believe in their project. I also I want to see really what the use case is, because we have all these projects that they want to do X, Y, and Z, but it's like, I want to see something that's built already and make sure that it makes sense. Like there's a particular pre-sale I invested in, and the reason why I invested in it is because they want to give like reward. I'm not going to shield the project, but they want to give rewards back to, it's kind of like when you use your Target card and you're able to get rewards back, stuff like that. I like things that have real use cases that I can see I can see people use, actually real people using. A lot of people in crypto like to focus on the rich, the people that are very tech savvy, and the upper class. And they don't focus on the middle class. They don't focus on the lower middle class. They don't focus on the poor. And that's my demographic. And I feel that they're doing a big disservice to those people that have the majority of that are made up majority of the world by not paying attention and not making things that will fit that demographic. And that's where you will lose long-term and your project will not be around.
Yeah, a lot of good points there for sure. You mentioned Polkadot, and that's one of like the has a lot of hype at the moment as well. Would be interesting to know your view and like when you see there's a lot of projects coming, but when do you see that they are starting to be ready to actually be used as a platform?
I hope soon. I really hope soon because a lot of people are making stuff out of thin air. And yes, I'm trading and investing in it. I'm not going to just not do it because, I'm not going to get left behind and I have a family to feed. But at the same time, I'm in and out of this stuff pretty fast. Even if I don't miss that, if I miss that 10% pump, or 10 times pump, that's fine. If I get the 2 to 3 times, that's fine. And I can move my capital into something else. But hopefully they do soon because the Ethereum network is, starting to get clogged, and it's not, a lot of people are like, they don't like Binance Smart Chain because it's centralized. But realistically, when you're looking at it, unfortunately, the average person cannot afford to use Ethereum. And we're talking about probably, I'd feel comfortable saying at least 25% of the world's population, if not more, probably closer to like 70%, can't afford that. We really, really can't. I don't want, every time I go on to utilize the Ethereum network, I'm paying over, if I want to send something to somebody, generally it's like $20, which, okay, fine. That's still expensive though. Really, really expensive. And I don't want to have to, when I trade something on Uniswap or 1inch, I should not be paying $100 for a trade. That's not really feasible. So that's a big issue. And those are, hopefully they get all that stuff fixed soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about these smart contract platforms, what do you see otherwise, like which projects you might think that are maybe a bit overvalued or which might be a bit undervalued? Do you have any ideas?
You know what? I'm just kind of watching things right now. I don't like to really call something overvalued or undervalued because the market decides. I don't get to decide. The market's going to decide what something is worth. And that's a great thing about crypto and being a true free market is that people get to decide. So whatever the market says something is at the current time, that's what it's valued at. And I'm not going to be one to argue and fight the market. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to take my profits. I'm going to practice my risk management. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to say, oh, this is, I think this about this. No, as a trader and investor, I'm here to increase my capital and continue to roll it over and to continue to compound it. When you start getting very emotional about different projects, that's when you start to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah, good points. Do you see any, like, are you excited about any of the other platforms than Polkadot and maybe Ethereum?
I love Binance Smart Chain. I know a lot of people think that it's not central or centralized, but I like it because it's affordable. It's affordable for people that I know to use, and everybody deserves an equal shot, to an extent. And there's not really, Ethereum is for the people that have been in the space for a while, that have the money, that have a lot of Ethereum, that can afford these fees. I grew up poor, so I understand, and I'm a mom too. I'm always trying to save money. I understand it's really not for everybody at this time. Maybe it'll change in the future, but until then, I want something that works. I want something that I can talk to my audience about, that they can use, that makes sense for them. Because when I'm talking about Ethereum projects, they're like, I can't afford to trade this. That's not, that's me doing them a disservice by just focusing on Ethereum.
Yeah. Ethereum is not the most user friendly at the moment, especially for the beginners. And I also consider that the Binance Smart Chain, it's like, for me, I wasn't doing like this yield farming in Ethereum before, and now in the Binance Smart Chain, I tried it out, and it's like I feel it like it's a good training ground as well for that kind of thing,
Yep.
What do you think about the IDO platforms? Are you also using those for investing?
The IEOs for pre-sales?
Yeah, like these platforms, launch pads, and what do you call them?
So I have a partner, and this person is not in the United States because I'm not allowed to invest in them. Well, I can to an extent, but I have to be registered outside of the country to do so. So we go ahead and we take care of everything via that way with my partner, and I let him handle all that stuff.
Yeah, how do you see the future of this kind of platforms? And
I mean, it's just it's wild. It's great, but and some of the platforms are strict, so they don't let U.S. investors in. They're pre-sales are great, but at the same time, they're incredibly risky. And if you're listening to this and you want to invest in pre-sales, you can lose a lot. You can make a lot of money, but you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. I always advise for people to be careful. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else on the internet. And think before you decide to toss money into this stuff. Pre-sales are cool, but realistically, I don't think people need to raise all of that money to build a project, but what do I know?
Yeah, it seems like many of them are also getting a bit out of reach for the beginner user. Like, I mean, if you have a small money only to invest in, like seems like many of them require quite a bit of tokens, or if you want to have a guaranteed allocation.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a little bit crazy again, and a lot of people in crypto, they're greedy. They forget about where they came from, or they just came from money, and they just are not really interested in bettering society. And that's probably the ugly part of crypto and the sad part of crypto. And I think we can do better as a community to kind of be inclusive. And I'm not talking about giving people special privileges just because they came from X, Y, and Z, but realistically, Bitcoin was created by Satoshi out of 2008, which was a terrible time for many, many people. And it was created essentially to give people back their freedoms and be self-sovereign and control what happens to their money. And the space is kind of, strayed from that. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but I'll say it.
Yeah. We have this overarching theme in the Crypto Freedom Summit that what would you do if you had to have to start all over again, knowing what you know today? So what would you say to people who are coming into the crypto space at this point in time, and maybe they have a small money to invest in the markets? Like, what would you tell them?
Well, let's say you have $1,000 to invest in the market. We'll pose a question that way. What I would do, I'd probably get 500 of that. I would probably buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, BNB, DOT. I would probably space it out that way. And then the rest of it, I'd probably do like 250 Bitcoin, and then the rest I would probably diversify into BNB. Actually, I'd probably do $250 of Bitcoin and the rest Ethereum and BNB DOT. And then I would take that Ethereum I would take that Ethereum and BNB and play around with alts a little bit, try to increase my capital. So maybe $500 into that, $100 into DOT. And then I would probably get $150 and buy USDC and lock it up or put it on a platform that pays me interest back. And I would utilize platform. I would trade on platforms, obviously, like, the Pancake Swap, trade there. But I would probably, when I'm not trading, I'd probably leave some of that cryptocurrency on a platform that gives me passive income back to increase my holdings. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but every bit counts. And I would probably play that market a little bit that way. Of course, there is risk associated with it. And just as long as you know what the risk associated with it, that's fine. But at the same time, that's the way you're going to increase your Bitcoin. Or you can dollar cost average if you want. But of course, there is risk associated. So whatever you're investing, make sure you can afford to lose it. That is disposable income.
Yeah. How would you define in this, what you described, like how would you define when to take profits? How would that work out?
It depends. It depends on each project. A lot of people ask me this question, and I can't really give a definitive answer because it depends what you're investing in, and it depends what your anticipations are, what you think the project's going to go to. Is this going to 10 times? Is this going to 1 times? Is this going to 30%? So you have a trading journal, you write all this stuff down, and you watch the market. And if this is like with something like Chainlink or DOT, you can probably get right at 30% and pump and, take some profit or whatever it is and then reinvest that capital. So it really just depends what your strategy is. If you're investing in something on Binance Smart Chain or on Uniswap, you probably want to pay attention to it and anticipate that it could pump like crazy or rug pull and you can lose everything. So you want to go ahead and take your profit and initial investment out as fast as you can and keep a moon bag. The moon bag strategy has taught me well, or treated me very well.
Yeah, that sounds good. I would like to also know, like you described in the beginning, your daily routine and like habits. How important do you think they are, like these health habits for trading and investing?
They're immensely important, and the reason why we're going through all this crazy stuff globally. And it's important to practice self-care. If you cannot practice self-care, you're probably going to end up losing a lot of money. You're probably not going to do well. Maybe some people will, but realistically, if you cannot love yourself and you don't respect your body and you don't treat it with respect, then it's not going to perform for you the way you need it to, especially your mind.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so Could you tell people where they can find your channels and what you are doing?
So I am Crypto Wendy. You can find me on YouTube. It's still, all my handles are Crypto Wendy. If somebody reaches out to you and says, give me money, I don't do that. I have no paid services. Everything I do is free, 100% free. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I am on Twitter. I have a free newsletter, Wendy's White Paper. It goes out 3 times a week. You're more than welcome to sign up for that. When you sign up for that, you get 3 weekly newsletters that are completely free. That'll help you navigate how to set up MetaMask, how to include Binance Smart Chain, different things about, being self-sovereign, what Bitcoin is, what mining. So I do definitely recommend that you check out my socials. I post a lot of educational content. Twitter is more for kind of fun posting, but TikTok and YouTube and my newsletter are pretty serious for the most part. We do a lot of education there.
Yeah, that sounds great. So guys, go check out Wendy's channels. A lot of good stuff in the YouTube and the newsletter and everything. So yeah, thank you, Wendy, for this nice interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you guys, I'll see you in the next interviews. Bye-bye.